For the moment, though, we welcome onto SAFM Sports Special a man that has been a guest many an occasion, Dawie, the coach of the junior Springboks. Good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you. It's always nice to talk to you guys.
Well, Dawie, thanks for giving up some of your Sunday afternoon again. You've made your first move in defending that Junior World Championship that the Baby Boks have won and are currently reigning champions in by naming an extended training squad ahead of the 2013 IRB tournament in France.
Yes, first of all, we are busy working at the moment, so I'm watching the guys training at the moment. We're just doing a Sunday afternoon flush out because the guys have already played on Saturday morning. They played the first round of trials, and now this afternoon they got a 40-minute flush out, and then tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock we've got the second round of trials. So the guys are hard at work already, and I must say that the trials yesterday was some of the best rugby that we've seen as far as trials are concerned. So we were very impressed with some of the guys, and that is just goes to show the way that the guys are training and being coached in their different unions and the quality of the competition, the under-19 competition this year. So yeah, we're very excited.
Well, I'm going to ask you, the Blue Bulls and Western Province players provide the bulk of the squad. Any thoughts behind that? I mean, got nothing to do with your provincial allegiances, eh, Dawie?
No, not at all. No, I think, we're not only looking just at the under-19 competition, although that must count for 90% of our decision to bring who's coming in for the trials and so forth. But the reason for the Bulls having the most guys here is that, basically they signed most of the talent, or they got most of the talent that was involved in SA schools and previous competitions of the guys that came through the ranks. And the Western Province, well, they just had an excellent competition. They won the cup. So they were brilliant. And I think that's the reason why, the bulk of the players come from those two provinces. But I must say that there is also a good number of players from the Sharks. And there's a couple of guys from the Free State, and even from the Lions. And so I think the balance is good, and that it's a quality squad that is here at the moment. There is still a number of players that was not available either due to injury or other commitments. A guy like Andre Pollard, for instance, we decided not to invite those guys that is busy with their final matric exams. We don't want to do, to those guys that it is a milestone in your life to write your final exams at school level, and so we let them do that, so we don't want to interfere in that process, but they will get their chance in the camps that will follow in December and in January.
Oh, it's good to hear that you've allowed them to take their education first and allow that to take precedence. It's unfortunate, though, that we're losing out on the Junior World Championship fly of Andre Pollard. That should be a big void to fill, hey?
Yeah, but I must say, the other fly-offs that actually the guys that are here, they were very good in the competition, the under-19 competition, and there's some quality guys coming through the system, So I must say that the depth on fly-off looked very, very good, and then as the depth on scrum-off and hooker at this moment in time. So if there's no major injuries coming into play, then the future for the under-20s look bright as far as those positions are concerned. I think there's really quality players at 9, 10, and especially at 2. And the past year, there was a little bit of a drought in those departments. And although a guy like Jan van der Walt, in my opinion, was one of the best players at the World Cup, he was excellent in the end, the number 9. We didn't have a lot of players. The depth wasn't that good, So we had a couple of injuries in that position, and we struggled in those positions. And the guys that played for us was very, very good. But I must tell you, one of those guys that was here in the World Cup, if one of those guys got injured, I don't know where we would have gone. Who were the next one. So this year there is more depth, and we are very fortunate. So yes, Andre Pollard, he will get his chance, and he was brilliant for us in the World Cup. Obviously, he's one of the front runners, and but for now, let him concentrate on his matric exams.
Well, I see you've also included two Springboks Sevens player, Llewellyn Isbell and Cheslin Colby, among another Junior World Championship Junior Bok medal gold winner, Marvin Orby, in the forward section.
Yes, Marvin is just, the guy matured from last year to this year. It's just unbelievable. He had a brilliant under 21 series for the Bulls. He actually played in the under 21 Currie Cup, and he was the major guy making the calls and stuff in the lineouts and so on. So he was playing a very senior role there. And I'm very impressed with him. You know, he looked very well at the camp, and he seemed to be very matured at the moment. Cheslin Colby had a very good under 19, also under 21 competition, and he's just a very well balanced, mature player. And then if you Llewellyn Isbell, unfortunate, was a late withdrawal from the camp, so he didn't partake in the trials at this moment in time.
If you've just joined us, we're chatting to Dawie Theron. He's the coach of the Junior Springboks that will be defending the Junior World Championship title, won this past June, and the next year, 2013, in France. They're currently undertaking a bit of a training camp. It ends tomorrow, so we'll leave you to it. Enjoy those final few hours there. When's the next assignment, though? When do we get all these youngsters together and start preparing in earnest for next year?
What we are doing now, we had a couple of meetings with some of the coaches. I've got five of the coaches that was the under 19 coaches in the competition for the different provinces here with us. Nazim Adams, who is actually my assistant coach, is also the under 19 coach of Western Province. So the only guy that couldn't be here was the guy from the Bulls, Paul Anthony, whose team played in the final, but he had other arrangements, so he couldn't be here. So, I think it's a very good exercise. We had Peter Houston and McIntosh also here. It was a thorough process. We looked at the players. We picked two very strong sides for tomorrow's final trials, and then what will happen, we will pick a group of 36 players after this, which will come back in December to a camp, and some of those players that will come back will actually be guys that didn't play at the trials also, but that will, I think the number will only make out, say, 4 or 5 guys that haven't been here. But that is the next step, to get a group of 36 out of this 50-odd players, plus the ones that couldn't make the trials. And then, because you've got also a guy like Jan Serfontein, who is currently a slight injury. He was invited to the camp, but he couldn't play. He had a second-grade tear of ligament in his ankle. And then we will come back in January when we will play UWC, Marties and Ikes in warm-up games for them, for the Varsity Cups, and also for us to get to a final group that we will work on going forward into a tour in March, April to Argentina, and then you're already in the home sprint again. The final stretch to the World Cup in May. It's just a holding camp and a motivational camp, and then we're going to Italy, to France.
Well, Dawie, we've got a fairly stiff test ahead of us. The 2013 Junior World Championship pools sees us in Pool A up against the hosts and England. So South Africa, France, England and the USA in Pool A. And we still got to look forward to, provided we get through, to the likes of New Zealand, Australia, Fiji, Argentina and, of course, Scotland. So it's going to be a stiff test, but I'm sure you're preparing the boys well.
Yes, I think so. I think it's going to be a stiff test. But the thing is, if we want to be, it was a stiff contest this year as well, So the thing is, we looked at the draw, and there was a lot of people saying, yes, this is a little bit unfair. In the past, if you win the competition, then it always seemed that the guys that will go through will get the easier ride. The champion will get the easier ride, and this time around it just worked out that we are in the pool with England and France, So, but you're going to get those guys somewhere along the line, and you've got to be prepared. It's a very, very tough competition where you only got a 3-day turnaround between games. And if we want to be the best in the world, then we've got to play the best in the world and beat the best in the world. So I think the quicker we get used to that idea and get our minds around it and get the guys to live up to those challenges. It will just better us as a rugby nation for the future.
Well, Dawie, we'll leave it at that. It's almost time for the news. That is Dawie Theron. He's the coach of the Junior Springboks that will be defending the RB Junior World Championship that they took in June. It's up in France next year. Less than 12 months to go. Can we do it? I certainly hope so. And we wish all of the members of that training squad well for the end-of-year finals. Those are the ones that are writing them. And, of course, well for next year's Junior World Championship.